$4.10. So overall, we've got the crypto market looking good in the face of it. But the big market news is really what's happening here with CZ, with Binance and the SEC. So, we've got the CFTC saying that Bitcoin and Ether are commodities, and this has really put a bit of a dampener on Binance in general. Everyone's been a bit skeptical ever since we've had the FTX collapse, and it's just really like human nature. Everyone trusted FTX, and we know what happened there. So people have been saying, is Binance's hands clean? And there's been quite a lot that they're being accused of doing in the early days of Binance. So the regulatory agency filed a lawsuit on Monday in the US District Court, and they allege that the company broke trading and derivative laws. So they're saying that in 2019, that there were different transactions that went against the law. And the company did not require its customers to provide any FICA, any identity information, and they failed to put in place any compliance procedures. So Binance has come out and said this is all not true. There's nothing to worry about. But they believe they've got a big case. The CFTC, their chairperson, Rostin Beham, has said that they believe that the crypto space is volatile and risky. And for years, Binance knew that it was violating these laws. And, they've been working actively to both keep the money flowing and avoid compliance, that they've knowingly been going against the laws. And that this should be a warning to anyone else that the CFTC will not tolerate avoidance of US law. So Binance has come out and said that this is completely disappointing and unexpected, and that they've been working in collaboration with the CFTC for more than 2 years. They've also made significant investments to ensure that it didn't have any US users active on their platform. And we've even seen as a result of this that the US is saying that they might be banning VPNs so that you can't hide where you're from, which is really, I don't think that will hold any muster in courts. I don't know that the US will be able to do that, but they want to do that because they're saying if you can't prove where you're from, then they can't really, enforce these type of laws. So yeah, man. I mean, after the wealth notice that we saw served on Coinbase, we're now seeing Binance also in a bit of hot water here. CZ did come out and respond. He's responded, and I will put all the responses in the body of the description. But he's responded saying that there's no merit to this, and went quite in detail with all of his different responses here, and how they've been trying their best to make sure that only non-US people are allowed to trade, and anyone from the US is KYC, and so on and so forth. That they've had transparency, that they've kept to the law, that they follow legislation, they have the right licenses, and that everything that they've done is above board. So yeah, it remains to be seen, Kate, but definitely some smoke going on there for sure.
Bro, this whole thing is crazy because like you brought up the VPN thing, dog. When the COVID thing happened in 2020, we were all like, man, this is one slippery road. If you start banning people from going outside, like once that happens, the floodgates are opened, and now it happens, and we like had to comply because they enforced it. And I was like, man, we're talking about this VPN stuff. I'm on TikTok a lot, engaging with people who I respect to just get their opinion on like the TikTok ban, for example. And then the TikTok ban also includes a VPN ban, where if you use VPN, you go to prison now, 10 years, $250K fine too. And I was like, what
has that been finalized though?
This is serious. What?
That VPN thing, has that been finalized? Is it just at the moment a suggestion?
It's part of the package. If it goes through, you can't use a VPN, and you would go to prison.
So it hasn't, but it hasn't gone through yet, right?
Hasn't gone through, but that's some really Orwellian 1984 shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that they can even do that.
That's some serious control. Dude, that's fucked. That's fucked. But the CZ thing, like low key, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and say, damn, they were doing some sketchy stuff in the early days, because it was the early days. Like if Binance was doing some sketchy stuff back then, I would be like, damn, well, it is what it is. That was 5 years ago. In the same way that like Kevin Hart said some like whatever stuff 10 years ago. It's like one of those things where I'm like, it's a little bit taken out of context. Crypto was a different thing back then. It's a very different thing now, especially as governments are starting to use it. We're seeing Russia and China band together, make a different currency. It's inevitable that we're going to have to use these alternate currencies. It's probably going to be, thousands of different currencies. And I'm excited to learn about it as it goes. But the idea of this control that we're seeing and the government saying, we're going to ban this, we're going to ban that. I'm like, bro, you guys are like tugging on a fucking like this. You guys can't do everything, because at some point we're seeing senators and governors and Congress people. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're on TikTok right now. American governors and senators that they're not supposed to have TikTok, but they're posting on TikTok, and they're like, yo, this is some messed up shit. And I'm like, bro, it's only a matter of time before more people with more respect and more power start to talk about it, and it gets on bigger networks and people start hearing about it. And dude, the government's going to collapse on itself if they keep doing shit like this, because this is some serious control issues.
Yeah, no, it is, and we do know what happens. People revolt with this type of thing, especially in a free country like the US that isn't used to being restricted to this. We saw with COVID, we saw with the mask and everything like that. How they enforced it and what the repercussions were there. So yeah, man, it's going to be very, very interesting. Look, the CFTC is not playing games here. They've listed 300 accounts that were linked to allegedly linked to CZ, and it's showing that he's trading on his own platform, allegedly. So nothing's been proven. But they are coming out quite heavily against us, and they seem to think that they have all of this. CZ says, "Listen, we run a very simple trading platform," and is saying that this is absolute nonsense. But there's a very real concern that Binance US will be affected by this at the very, very least. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's